All right, welcome back.
Welcome.
I'm Graham,
I am Ashkahn.
and today's question is, how do you handle temperature complaints in your float tanks?
Man, the freaking temperature complaints are...
And we
Okay. So, getting me all riled up over here.
and we do have an episode where we talk about how to actually try to get the perfect temperature in the float rooms and things like that. So we won't concentrate on that so much. Just like once someone's come out of their float and complained, what do you do?
So, it's frustrating because it's like... it's just the most frequent complaint you're going to get, and it's just because it's hard. It's just really hard to maintain temperature perfectly.
And if it's not the most frequent complaint you get, you're really doing something else very wrong. Like, listen to those other complaints very closely,
So, I mean, you can try to fix it for their next float is part of it, right? And most people are satisfied with that. You're saying, hey, all your scheduling software has a way for you to put notes somewhere. So putting a note onto someone's account saying, hey, this person likes it a little bit warmer or a little bit colder, letting the customer know that you did that. Hey, I put a note on your account, and next time you come in, we'll turn the temperature up for you a little bit. That's 90% of the time. That's enough for them to be like, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds great. Next time I come, we'll give it a go.
And also along with that too, if they really had a miserable experience, like if they come out and they're just like, man, I was shivering there the whole time, or they get out early because the temperature was either too cold or too hot or something like that, offering a free float is a really good way to get them back in as well. So it's kind of like, it's sort of like a 1-2 whammy of like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I'll put a note on your account. The temperature will be either adjusted up or down next time you come in. And here's a free float to come try that again. Like we just can't get the temperature right for everyone. It's just how our bodies work. We keep it at the kind of average point for people, but every day we still have people who it's just not their exact body temperature. So please come try it out again on the house. It'll be better then. And that's kind of again, for those cases where it actually did ruin their float because the temperature was so far off a good addition.
And another thing that's good to clarify, that I found this question really useful when I started asking it, was did they feel like the air was cold or the water was cold? Because often when you ask, they'll know. They'll be like, oh, it was the air. Like the top of my body felt really cold. Or, and that helps you figure out like, hey, do I need to turn the air temperature up or the water temperature? Or am I, getting consistent complaints about one versus the other? And it helps you kind of adjust a little bit to cut those down.
For sure. And just as a little point of interest, too, I found that especially for women, the air temperature seems to be more, finicky, or you have to get it more precise for them to really feel comfortable. Like if there's, and I'm not sure if it's just like breasts being exposed and that being a little more sensitive on women than men, but they do seem to really be cued into that air temperature a lot more than men do, which I found interesting.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this whole thing is just so uncontrollable. It's crazy, someone will come in the next time and their body will be in a different place, and maybe they just ate, or maybe they just worked out, or maybe it's a different time of day, and they'll just be kind of running at a different temperature. So despite your best efforts, there's only so much you can do that will actually make the temperature perfect for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. What else? I guess the other side of this is sometimes it's actually hard to get complaints out of people as well.
Yeah.
So finding multiple ways to try and solicit those, and again, usually it's a complaint about temperature, but a lot of people get out and they're like, oh, maybe I just run a little. It's amazing how much guilt I think people carry around with them. But
I think they screwed it up.
The amount of floaters who get out and they were cold and they feel like it's their fault, and so they don't mention it is non-trivial. Like that's actually a huge percentage of people. Yeah,
we do a feedback email. So if it's gone 3 months and you haven't floated after you came in and floated with us, you'll get kind of an automated email from us asking for feedback. And I'd say probably the most common thing we get back is someone saying hey, it was nice, but I felt a little bit cold, or I felt a little bit hot. And these
Other than just incredibly positive feedback, which I'd say is the most common.
Or I moved, that's why I haven't floated again. We get some of those. But in terms of the complaints, that's definitely the lion's share of them. And these are people who I don't think mentioned that to us after their floats. They didn't come out and say that to the person working the front desk or anything. They just kind of sat there, went home, and then 3 months later, once they got this email, they're like, oh, this is why. I was just kind of uncomfortable in there.
Yeah. So figuring out some way for collecting information that's not just passive and relying on people coming out and complaining, whatever that is, I think is a good method to get to the bottom of this too. Is there anything else? How else do we handle temperature complaints? Tell the person never to come back. Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
The temperature is the temperature.
It's perfect. You're the one who's wrong. Yeah, I mean, just keeping a good eye on temperature, really trying to we're constantly testing and adjusting and listening to feedback and stuff like that. And that's just part of the process on cutting down on the complaints in the first place.
All right. Great question. And as always, if you have questions of your own, don't hesitate to send them in. floattanksolutions.com/podcast.